Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is going to be these little teacups. So they measure 4 inches. The little saucer part from tip to tip is 4 inches. And about 1 3/4 1.5 inches high. So they're on the smaller side. They're really easy to make. Before we get started, I do want to talk about a couple things. One thing being, I do in this tutorial, this is my first tutorial being back from the little break I took. And I did find times where I was, and I still am, getting like frustrated with myself and like tongue-tied in the video. So I do want to apologize about that. If you just bear with me, I'm trying to get back into the groove of filming, and yeah. So just bear with me on that. Second of all, the second thing I wanted to tell you about is the reason I wanted to make these. I was at a antique store. It's been a while now, I can't remember when it was, but I found this box, and in the box was these little teacups, and it had these little paper cup inserts, and they set just like this. And the lady took it, but when I took them up to the register, there was a little sign on the price tag, and it said that these are little serving cups. And the lady at the register said that you know, you could serve, like, put little peanuts in them and serve them like that. And I thought that is the cutest thing. If I was at somebody's house, if I went to somebody's house as a guest, you know, and they were like, you want some peanuts or something to snack on? I'm like, sure. And they gave me peanuts in this thing, I would be like, you are now my best friend. I just think that is the cutest thing ever. Or maybe like little M&Ms or Reese's Pieces or marshmallows or something. I just think that is just the cutest thing. Anyway, so that's why I wanted to make these, because I wanted to come up with my own version of these little teacups. So that's why I've decided to, you know, design these and come up with this little tutorial. Alright, so I made 12. The box that I found had 12, and that's kind of why I went with 12. I don't think that's actually necessary. You could probably just get away with, you know, making like a set would be, I don't know, 10 maybe? I don't know. You can make as many as you want. It doesn't matter. But I will say one of the supplies you are going to need is a... Uh-oh, I hot glued it together. I didn't mean to do that. Is a little cup. Now this little cup I got, it's got a little hot glue on it whenever I hot glued my handle on, I got from Wendy's. I just went in there and I grabbed 12 of their little ketchup cups. And I don't intentionally hot glue them in there, it's just the hot glue stuck to it from when I glued the handle on. But, so you're going to need a little cup. Now mine measures... Man, just a tad bit over 1 inch across the bottom. Can you see right there? Right here. So here's 1/4, 1 1.25 inches, and it's right before that. And then across the top, across the top is over 1.5 inches. It's almost 1 3/4 inches. And then around, four and a half. Well, at the widest part, see how it's thinner at the bottom and thicker at the top. But the thing of it is, this just slides right in and out of there. So I think you could get away with something a little bit bigger, or even something a little bit smaller than this. But go to a fast food restaurant. Like I said, I went to Wendy's and just grabbed 12 of these and shoved them in my purse. But go to a fast food restaurant and go to the condiments where, like, I don't know if all states, like, I'm probably thinking that California probably doesn't have them. I don't know. You might have to look on Amazon. I don't know why I'm thinking that California wouldn't have these. I have no idea. But anyway, just go to a fast food restaurant and go, like, by the soda where they have the lids and then they have the ketchup dispenser. That's where I grabbed those. Anyway, so I bet a medicine cup would fit. Hold on just a second, guys. It does work. Okay, so I have these medicine cups. Now, I ordered these off Amazon I use these for mixing epoxy on my tumblers. And if you just put that in there, I would glue that down just so it stays nice and pretty. Pull the sides up a little bit. There you go. That fits perfect. All right, so I'm going to put a link in the description box for you guys for these little medicine cups that I get. That's awesome. I never even thought about that till just now. I'm going to link the little cups for you guys. And then, so the thread, or the yarn. Let's talk about the yarn. Now, you're going to need a 3-weight. So, I did a little bit of research. I wish I would have done more. But I wanted a solid color 3-weight yarn, sport weight, with several different color choices, right? Well, the closest store to me is Hobby Lobby or Walmart. And I just thought, well, I'll just go to Hobby Lobby and just be done with it. So I went to Hobby Lobby and I found the I Love This Yarn Super Soft Sport Weight. And I grabbed my main color, which I chose to go with ivory. I didn't want to go with white, so I just went with ivory. And I want to apologize now because in the tutorial, the white, well, like I just said, it's not white, it's ivory. But the white part of the cup, the white is blown out in my lighting, and so I apologize for that. But that's what I went with. Now, if you're making 12 of your teacups, you're going to need 2 skeins of your main color. And these are 230 yards. You're going to need 2 skeins. Like, this is what I have left after the 12th teacup. So you just barely get into the second skein. Alright, so you're going to need 2 of your main color if you're going to make 12. If you're not going to make that many, I think you can get away with just 1 skein. And then you're going to need 1 skein for each of your other color. So, the reason I say I wish I would have done a little more research is because I Love This Yarn Super Soft Sport Weight at Hobby Lobby. This is pretty much all the color choices. The only color I didn't use was black and white, and there was another color I didn't use, but it was like a muted color, like a darker gray than this. Like, this is gray. It's lighter maybe than this. I can't remember, but I wish I would, like, there was no purple, and I never even realized that until after I had already, got everything, and I thought, well, I wanted to do purple. But anyway, so I would suggest going and finding a line of yarn that has several different solid colors in the sport weight, and then go crazy with all the different colors. Alright, so like I said, you're going to need 2 skeins, or at least 460 yards for all 12 teacups. But if you're not going to do 12, then I'd just get at least 230 yards. And then 1 skein for each of your color. Or if you got scrap, that'd be a good scrap buster too. Okay, so the hook I used. The hook I used is a 2.25 millimeter hook. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a flippin' small hook. Yes, it is. And it is doable. Trust me, you can do it. And that is how we get the size of teacup we need for our little cups. Okay? So I know it's a small hook. I know a lot of you probably aren't going to make it because of the small hook, but I promise it's not as hard as what you think it's going to be. Just try it. But if you do want to go up a hook size, just remember the bigger the hook, the bigger cup you're going to need for the teacup part. And actually, I bet with this medicine cup, you could probably go up to a, let's see, it's a 2.25. I bet you could go up to a 3.25 millimeter hook with the measuring cups. I don't think it'd work much bigger than that. I think it'd get too big, but the bigger the hook, the bigger your cup is going to be. So keeping in mind, if you do decide to go up a hooks or whatever number of hook sizes, you're going to need a bigger cup, okay? So there's that. Then you're going to need a needle to weave in your ends, and with this size 3 yarn, these DMC number 22s, I got these from Walmart. These are perfect for weaving in really thin yarn or thread. Then you're going to need a pair of scissors, and then I used a hot glue gun to hot glue the handle to the teacup. And then that's how my cup accidentally got hot glued in there. Okay, so that is all the supplies we're going to need. So you guys get everything you're going to need together, and let's get started. Alrighty, to get started with our little teacups, we are going to get a slip knot on our hook. Make sure you have enough tail that you can weave in. Get a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to start with a chain of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to come down and slip stitch to that first chain. And chain 1. Alright, I'm going to tighten up that little slip stitch. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work 18 double crochet into the ring, okay? Into that little bitty ring we just made. So I'm going to yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. So there's 1, and make sure you're working over your tail. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, scooch them, 11, 12, oops, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, one more, and 18. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18. All right, so we've got our 18 double. We are going to slip stitch to that very first double crochet right there. Right there. There's our first double. So we will slip stitch into that and go ahead and pull that center tail. I'm going to go ahead and stop, and we're going to weave in this tail. Get one of my little needles. And now I'm just going to continue around the legs of these double crochets, and when I pull tight, it's going to close up that hole. put lotion on a little bit ago and my hands are all slick now. Okay, so now I'm going to come back a few to lock it down and cut. Okay. And that was the end of round 1. I cut my yarn stuck on my needle. I accidentally ran it there. All right. So for round 2, get our back on our hook, and we are going to chain 1, and we're going to double crochet right back into that double crochet we just slip stitched into. See right there? We're going to double crochet right back in there. And then double crochet into the next double and chain 2. Double crochet into each of the next 2 doubles, chain 2, double into the next 2 double, chain 2, double into the next 2 double, chain 2, double into the next 2 double, chain 2. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with you guys. It's not that much, not that many left. Double into the next 2 double, chain 2, double into the next 2, chain 2, double into the next 2, chain 2, and double into the last 2, chain 2. All right, now to end round 2, we slip stitch right back in, or well, slip stitch to that first double crochet right there. We're going to slip stitch right in there. All right, that's the end of round 2. So to move on to round 3, we are going to slip stitch into that very next double, and then we're going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space. All right. Okay, now what we're going to do is get some slack. We are going to work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into each chain 2 space all the way around. So we're in our first chain 2 space, so we're going to start with a chain 1 and work 2 double, chain 2, and go right back in there with 2 double. Okay, and now we just go right into that next chain 2 space with our 2 double, chain 2, go right back in there with 2 double. Okay, and just jump to that next chain 2 space. I didn't realize I was almost off camera. 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. Alright, so just work 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet into each of the chain 2 spaces, and I'll meet you when we get to that last one, alright? I'll be right back. Okay, so I've repeated that around. I've got, right here is my last chain 2 space, so I'm going to do my 2 double, chain 2, go back in there with 2 doubles, and now I'm going to slip stitch to that very first double crochet, and right there is the top of it. It should be slanted to the front just a little bit. Okay, so that's the end of round 3. So now we need to repeat what we just did for round 3 for 4, 5, and 6. So 3 more rounds. So all we're going to do is slip stitch into the first one. Now we're going to slip stitch into that second double, slip stitch into your chain 2 space, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, jump to the next chain 2 space, 2 double, chain 2, 2 double, 2 double, chain 2, 2 double, all the way around. Slip stitch to your first, slip stitch to your second, slip stitch into that very next chain 2, work round the next round. So we just finished round 3. We need round 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you guys get those 3 rounds done and come back here and we will move on. So I will get mine done and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished round 6. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm going to slip stitch to that very first double crochet. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and we're going to fasten off. Alright. Now I am going to go ahead and weave in that end just to get it done and out of the way. Okay. Okay, so this is the little cup we have for this. We are still going to work a round of the color around the top, but we'll do that in a minute. First, I want to move on to the saucer part of our teacup. But before we do that, I want to show you guys, this part is probably the trickiest part of the little pattern. And since the color I've chosen, which looks like white, it's actually not white, it's like an ivory color, is blowing out, like meaning the color is kind of washing out on camera, I think I'm going to try to do this the best I can. But what we're going to do is we're going to turn our cup upside down, right? Well, what we want to work into is the bar. Well, so here's round 1, there's round 2. Well, the little chain that we did in here is what we want to work around. That's the chain 2 between these double crochets and then the chain 2 that we worked round 3 around, right? Well, to do that, we're going to turn our work upside down, and we're going to insert our hook into the chain 2 space of round 2 and come out the chain 2 space of round, what did I say 2? I meant 3. We're going to go into the chain 2 space of round 3 and come out the chain 2 space of round 2. And that right there is what we're going to work around. Alright? I know it can get a little confusing, and I just wanted to take a minute to show you guys a more specific way of what we're going to be doing it, how we're going to be doing it. Alright, so take your teacup, turn it upside down. Find round 1, here's round 2, and then the shells or the 2 double, chain 2, 2 double that we worked is round 3. And we're going to insert into round 3, come out round 2, and we are going to work a slip stitch, tighten that down, chain 1, and we're going to go right back around where we're working. So if you pinch it in half, you can kind of see how the holes line up right there. Right in there is where we're going to be working into. Alright, so we're going to work 2 double, 1, 2, chain 2, go back in there with 2 doubles, 1 and 2, and chain 1. Now we're going to go to the next chain 2 space of round 3. See it right there? Go in, well, yarn over, and we're going to work 2 double, chain 2, go back in there, 2 doubles, chain 1, and then if you need to, just unpinch your work and rotate. Find your next chain 2, which is right here. So we go in, first yarn over, go in round 3, come out round 2, and then pinch it in half. Two double, chain 2, and then go back in there with 2 double, chain 1, unfold it. There's round 2, there's my next chain 2, right above that is the chain 2 from round 3, so I'm going to go in and work 2 double, chain 2, go back in there with 2 double, chain 1. Alright, so I'm going to let you guys repeat that around. Just unfold it, find the next chain 2, go right above it. There's the chain 2 from round 3, and that's where we're going to work into, okay? So I'm going to let you guys work this around, and I'll meet you when we get back to the beginning. Okay, so I repeated that around, and I'm at the last chain 2. There's the last chain 2 from round 2, so I'm going to bring it up. There's the chain 2 from round 3, so I'm going to go in with my, dang it, in with the 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, chain 1, and slip stitch to that first double crochet. Alright, so that is, what is that, 7, round 7. Alright, now we're going to slip stitch to the next double, slip stitch to the next chain 2, chain 1, and we're going to work 2 double, chain 2, 2 double into that chain 2 space we just slip stitched into. 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, and now we're going to chain 2 and jump to the next chain 2 space. That's the only difference with this round, is that we chain 2 between the I'm going to say the little shells. Chain 2, jump to the next chain 2, work your 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. Chain 2, jump to your next chain 2 space. Alright, so I'm going to let you guys finish this round. And I am going to get mine done off camera, and I will be right back. Remember, chain 2, then jump to your next chain 2 space. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I just worked into that last chain 2, and I did my 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. So now we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch to the first double right there. Slip stitch to the next double, slip stitch into the chain 2, chain 1, and for, let's see, what is this, 6, 7, 8, 9, for round 9 we are going to work a double, well, 2 double, chain 2, go back in there with 2 double, now we're going to chain 3, 2, 3, and we're going to come down to that chain 2 space and single, chain 3, and jump to your next chain 2 space with your 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. Chain 3, come down to that chain 2 space, single crochet around that chain 2, chain 3, and work into the next chain 2 with your 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. Okay, so that's what you're going to repeat around. Work your shell, chain 3, single into the chain 2 space, chain 3, shell into the middle of the shell from your last round, and repeat that around. And I will meet you when we get to the last shell. Okay, so I just finished that last shell. So now I'm going to chain 3, 2, 3, come down and single around that chain 2, chain 3, and slip stitch to the very first double crochet of the round. Right there. Alright, now we can chain 1. Make sure you get all your strands when you chain 1. And cut. Alright, so now you can kind of see our teacups taking shape. So I'm going to go ahead and weave in these 2 ends real quick. And after I get this done, we will start with the color part of the teacup. Alright, so I'm going to get my turquoise, find the end, of course. Alright, so now we're going to get a slip knot on our hook with the turquoise. And what we're going to do is we're going to work the exact same thing we did on round 6 right here in the turquoise around the top of round 6. So I'm just going to attach into any of those chain 2 spaces, it doesn't matter which one. Slip stitch, chain 1, I'm going to go right back in there with this, I'm sorry, not a single. I'm going to go right back in there with a double and another double, chain 2, scooch that over, and 2 double. Alright, now I'm going to jump to that next chain 2 space and work the same thing. Alright, so I think you guys can finish this round by yourself. Go ahead and work your 2 double, chain 2, 2 double into each chain 2 space, and I will meet you when we get back to the beginning. Okay, so I just worked, tangled up. I just worked that last 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double into the chain 2 space. So now I'm going to slip stitch to the top of that chain 2, or top of that double crochet. Chain 1, pull up a loop. We can cut. I'll weave those in a little bit. Alright, so that is the end of that part. So now we are going to add the color around the edge of the saucer. So get a slip knot back on our hook. Make sure you leave enough tail to weave in. Alright, so now I'm going to attach into any of the chain 2 from the shell. It doesn't matter which one you attach into. Chain 1. And we are going to go right back in there with 2 doubles. Chain 2 and go back in there with 2 more doubles. Alright, now we're going to chain 4. 2, 3, 4. We're going to come down, pull, if you grab each of these chain 3, the ivory chain 3s, and you give them a little bit of a tug, you can see the top of that single crochet pop out right there. We're going to single crochet right into that single crochet. Chain 4 and come to the next chain 2, the shell. Oh, for Pete's sake, I cannot get my words out today. The chain 2 of the shell, and we're going to work the 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. I feel like this tutorial is all kinds of messed up. I don't know what my deal is today. I cannot get it together. Alright, now chain 4, 2, 3, 4. We're going to come down and single into the top of that single crochet. Chain 4, shell into that chain 2, or 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys finish this off camera. I'm going to repeat this around. Work your 2 double, chain 2, 2 double into the chain 2 space of the previous round's shell. Chain 4, single into your single crochet, chain 4, shell. Chain 4, single, chain 4, shell. Chain 4, single, chain 4, shell. And when I say shell, I mean 2 double, chain 2, 2 double. Okay? Repeat that around, and I will meet you when we get to the last single crochet, okay? Okay, so I've worked around. I did my last shell, chain 4, and I'm going to come down here and single crochet into that single crochet from the previous round. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to slip stitch to the first double crochet, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. And there is the little teacup. Isn't it cute? Alright, now we're going to make the handle. I'll weave in those ends in a little bit, but for the handle, we are going to get our main color back. Let me turn the page of my pattern. So with the main color, we are going to get a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to chain 20. Now, I'm not going to make you guys watch me chain 20, so I'm going to get that done and come right back. Alright, I got my chain 20 done. So we are going to single crochet into the second chain from our hook, and then single crochet all the way down your chain, and I'll meet you at that last chain, okay? So we're just working a single crochet into each chain. Alright, I will meet you at the end of the chain. Okay, I have single crocheted down my chain, and I got my last chain right there, and into that last chain we are going to work 3 single crochet. So here's my first one, and my next 2 I'm going to work into that last chain as I rotate my chain around. So I'm going to flip that tail out of the way. There's 2, and then 1 more is 3, and we've made it all the way around. You know what, it's driving me nuts that this white is like getting blown out in the camera. So I am going to take my little pattern notepad, I'm going to use that as a background to see if that was going to help stop this from the white from blowing out so much. I can't tell if it is or not. Okay, so what we're going to do now is work 1 single crochet into each of the remaining loops on the other side of our chain. So right in, if you look, you can kind of see the legs of your double or your single crochets. If you just take your hook and push it right in there, and that's your remaining loops. So every little space, you can see like the little right here, right here, right here, right here. Those are the remaining loops. So just work a single crochet into there. And the stitch count isn't a big deal for this part. So if you just, if you can't figure out where you're going, just single crochet where you can, and we will go from there. Like I said, it's not a huge deal for this part. Single crocheting all the way down. Yeah, I don't think my notepad's helping at all. Okay, so we're coming to the end. I can see 1 right here. And I know I'm at the end, so what I'm going to do is right underneath that very first single crochet right there, it's a little bent, I'm going to work 2 single crochets into there. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to slip stitch back to that first single crochet, chain 1 and pull up loop. Okay. You can barely see right there was my first single, and right there's my slip stitch. So now what we are going to do is attach our second color, which is going to be so much easier for you guys to see. I am going to attach with a slip stitch right into that single crochet that we just slip stitched into. I'm going to attach with a slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to work 2 single crochet right back in there. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right, we're going to single crochet into the next 17. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. All right, so into the next 3 single crochets, we're going to work 2 singles. So right here is the next 1, 2, there's the next 1 and 2, and here's the next 1 and 2. So now 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. Single crochet into the next 17 down the other side. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do this. Okay, so I've made it, or I've single crocheted into those 17. I have 2 singles left, and we are going to work 2 single crochets into the last 2. 1, and here's the last one. And now all I'm going to do is come straight around to that first single crochet and slip stitch. You can get into it. Slip stitch, chain 1, and pull up a loop and cut. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video and I am going to weave in all the ends of my handle and all the ends of my teacup. So I'm going to get that done and I will be right back. Okay, I've got my ends weaved in. Here's my little handle. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to take our handle and I want to hold it up like this. So if like here is a turquoise shell and here is round 6 of the ivory part, what I want to do is put the handle onto the teacup with the back of the handle facing me. So this is the back of all the single crochets from and the turquoise, see how they're all facing away from me. I'm going to glue it on I'm going to hot glue it on like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down and straight down from the first glue, the spot where we first hot glued it. We're going to come straight down and we're going to put a big old dollop of hot glue right there and then set the handle on there, and it should make a shape like that. Like that. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my cup in my teacup too, just to hold it. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this, and where the blue shell starts, I'm just gonna put a little dot of hot glue right there. Now with the back of the single crochets facing me, I'm gonna set my handle on there, just like this. I'll hold that for just a few minutes. And now I'm going to come straight down, and this bigger hole right here is where I'm going to put another glob of hot glue. Just like that. And now I'm going to take my handle and bring it down and lay it flat on that glue. So it looks like this, but if we pull it out just a tad, it'll lay like that. And let that hot glue dry. And there is our little teacup. Let me adjust you guys just a little bit. I'm going to get all of these laid out. I've made 12 of them. But like I said at the beginning, you guys don't have to make 12. I just wanted to. My camera's not right. After I'm picking these up and holding them, I'm realizing there's a lot of hot glue stringing all over them. And here is the last one. Try not to bump my camera. Dang it. That's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed my little tutorial. And again, like I said earlier, I want to apologize. This is my first tutorial after a little bit of a break, and I felt like everything was off whack. It felt weird. I don't know. I need to get back into the groove, but I will eventually. Okay, guys. That is it. I hope you all enjoyed my tutorial. Thank you so very much for watching, and thank you for sticking in there with me, even though there's so much of it that's messed up. The tutorial isn't messed up. It's my words. I can't get them out. Anyway, check out the description box. I got links to my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. My email address is down there if you need any help whatsoever. Send me an email. Comment if you haven't. Let me know what you guys thought of my little teacups. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.